game 3 of this draft, and we'll see exactly how much we can do about this third game. I mean, BLG, that second game was a mess, but the first game was very, very dominant. So, bans coming through for both of these teams. The Ashe, the Leona, the Tristana on one side, the Rumble, the Lucian on the other. Lilia up and available as it stands. What else have we got in terms of those power picks? Tristana, of course, was really important for Shanks, but we've already mentioned that being banned. And now the cannon also being taken away as well. We did actually see AL try to counter the Bin cannon earlier with a Corki top lane. That didn't work out especially well for them. And Bin gets himself that Renekton. Very powerful blind pick in that top side. It has been kind of the flavor of the month LPL pick for that top lane. It's been so dominant in that early lane, and Ala will have to find some way to deal with it. We have seen some people just concede the lane and pick something like a Cassante to try and get some value from it. You can go towards Ala's Jax as well. The Jax-Renekton matchup is one of the longest standing in top lane history from over 10 years in this game, despite the very different iterations of this team. Sejuani, very, very powerful pick as well between both these teams. Croco, sort of answered the Sejuani hard engage by absorbing the engage last game with the Ivern, but it's not going to be quite as easy in this one as we get ourselves closer and closer towards that game. Lilia, very, very powerful magic damage dealer as well. So I'm getting ourselves into the second part of this draft for BLG. The Lily was the easy lock-in. Does fine in terms of that magic damage. What will Knight go towards? Will he go back towards that Yone? He's been struggling on it a little bit recently. Could still be the answer for them in that mid lane. AL, they have themselves that core. Technically a flex pick for them now, but it should still be into that mid lane. All the same, expecting something to come through from that mid lane, but no, going to lean on Knight's champion pool a little bit more. A lot of those mid lane champions been banned out already, expecting more of them to come through later. And instead, it's the Misfortune. El can play very, very lane dominant with that. So what do we see here from Anyone's Legends? Ezreal, notably still up and available as well. They could also go towards something which can survive that Renekton matchup. Bin on Renekton is very lane dominant with this, so they lock towards something that can answer, or at least survive or answer that. They were thinking about the Cassante, which have been conceding the lane but impacting team fights. The Jax can do better in the early game if you get some resources. You expect the Renekton to win in isolation, but Ala's Jax is not quite the level maybe of Bin's Jax, which is of course legendary in its own right, but still notable. Probably I would say maybe even the second best Jax within the LPL. And it will combo up with that Sejuani as well for the melee synergy. Up there, top side early skirmish is already looking quite spicy between the Renekton Lilia and that Jax Sejuani. Into the second round, not in fact banning out any of the mid laners, instead banning out some of the combinations with that Misfortune. Some magic damage banned away from Anyone's Legends now as well. That Zig's going to be taken away from Hope, and potentially going to remove that Kai'Sa as well if BLG would like to kind of force Anyone's Legend into an all AD composition. Another one of those combos taken away from On. So BLG, they're probably looking towards the Rel now. That can be very powerful for them. I mean, could even see Kyle lock that away. As their fourth pick, be a takeaway. It would leave you with very little ability to kind of play through the bigger AoE combos in terms of that support role. So the Rel, the last really hard engage option left on the table. Wouldn't surprise me to lock that into for Kyle. It would mean you have a lot better teamfight engage.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Wonderful. Just say that we've got a lot of our engage options now off the table because of the second round bans. I'm kind of surprised that Knight wasn't banned out more, but honestly, with Shanks' last game, I honestly don't mind letting him have something like that Yone if he's going towards it, because he didn't have a great game on it the last time either.
Agreed. I've just got myself a can of Iron Brew, which is made from girders, for anyone that doesn't know. So I'm charged up and ready to go for the last game. I've got to say, I like the... I'm not a big fan of Renekton first pick, but when it's Bin,
yeah,
I like it. I feel like Bin's like, look, guys, don't give me an R, give me something I can actually carry this game on, because you're all so heavy. I need some more power behind me.
You know, funnily enough, I think that Renekton for me falls into the same bracket as Nidalee, where like you just have to get so much value out of it that only a few players should really be allowed this pick. Bin's one of them. You got 369. I think Arla and Breathe have shown some value out of it as well, but even then that can be sporadic for some players like that too. Last pick coming in from AL. I'm so surprised they didn't take away Rel on 4. Like, it was so obvious that was going to come in, but they're looking towards that Maokai, which means they have a decent amount of their own synergy now with the engages.
They've got a lot of disengage for AL as well, right? With the Maokai plus the Sejuani, everyone always thinks of as an engage tool, but can be a fantastic disengage tool as well. So AL can potentially try and play this at range with the Ezreal and Corki. But Ala, you know he's going to be looking for the flanks. He does it every single game and he's on his Jax. That top lane matchup is going to be a bit of a banger. Renekton versus Jax, Bin versus Ala. It was always going to be good. I don't know if we've mentioned this on the cast so far as well, but it's literally Tabe's most successful team versus his current team that's like evolved since he joined the roster. So exciting times to see if Tabe can be the difference. Maybe he was the difference for BLG. He'd have to prove it now.
So folks, I'm going to very quickly dash out of the room because I need myself a Red Bull for our last game of the day. So I'm going to keep myself further awake for this one and keep all eyes on the prize. We'll be loading in sooner and sooner towards that Rift and getting ourselves towards whether AL can get themselves a very unexpected victory here. But that game 2 was frenetic as heck. And see if we can get ourselves into an even more frenetic game 3.
Only time will tell. I'm excited for this one. I've lost the plot in terms of trying to analyze anything here, guys. It is at this point just, it's vibes, it's memes, and I feel like there's a reasonable chance that's where the teams are at as well, because this is game number 3 in the series. I imagine it's just as hot over there, although I know that they do have good aircon in the arena, because I've been there. I've been in that arena. I sat on that seat first in from the left on the, first in from the right on the left segment on the front row. That's where I sat. It was very exciting, and it was lovely and cool. And actually, I could barely see the screen because I was too far forward. So I would recommend sitting further back. You're welcome, everyone. Also, on the topic of Shanghai tourism advice, there's a bar near the Bund called the Captain. It's fantastic, rooftop bar. You can see the skyline. It's not on the Bund, but you can kind of see the Bund from it. Oh, fantastic. Highly recommend it there. Great Long Island iced tea.
Doesn't Rookie also have a restaurant in Shanghai as well? I seem to remember him opening up one and something like that. We could see a bit of cooking in the bot side, but nothing too much yet. Maokai, Ezreal, pretty good at poking out. Not the best bot lane in terms of lane domination. However, getting poke like that does help you quite a lot at the early levels. The Misfortune makes its way through the draft. It has been very flavor of the month here in LPL. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm sure we'll cover that at some point, but the laning is one of those big points. Getting the sapling poke off, though, does help Hope and Kyle survive this early lane.
On doing a good job to try and soak these saplings while his shield is up, as Knight and Shanks trade aggressively this bloody Zeri mid lane. I'm not a fan of it. Not really a fan of Zeri in general, but I feel like we saw it from Rookie earlier on. Couldn't quite be that big team fight tool. We'll see if Knight can have a better performance here. Has hits that level 2 and punishes Ala immediately.
And worth noting, so Rookie played his first Zeri game mid lane earlier today. He lost with that one. Yeah, he did. I was trying to remember if he ended up winning that one. But Knight, this is his second game of the Zeri. He lost his first game and he had a KDA of 1.5. So fair to say, not necessarily his comfort. No, weirdly, in the past, Knight was actually a very good ADC mid player. Like I'm talking years ago, he was actually a very good Corki mid player back then, before it kind of changed back over to the AP version and then blah, blah, blah. I don't think Knight has been very good at the ADC mids at all. I think that has been a real problem for him, and I think that, for me, I think BLG in some ways have some issues not dissimilar to NIP as well. Like, they both actually had both late replacements of junglers in the split because of varying levels of form. But I also think that they've struggled how to find themselves a new identity after Spring and after MSI. I think Knight looked so much better on the majors, like the Talir, like the Ahri, Aurelion, Sol, maybe less so on that one. That was more of a rookie pick. But I much preferred him on stuff like that rather than the ADC mids, because it feels like he's really struggling to playmate in the way he did before. And BLG, now lacking playmaking from mid lane and struggling how to balance the map in terms of should they focus top side and leave bot lane on weak side because they've struggled with that, or the opposite way around and maybe struggling to play kill lanes the same way. BLG have really struggled to find an identity.
They tried changing their jungler as well to see if that would fix anything. It, to be honest, doesn't really feel like it's changed that much for me, really. I feel like they are still a very similar team to what they were before. Bin has just used his slice and dice as Croco walks into the lane. I mean, that is as easy as you like for AL. Ala getting first blood.
And Wei uses his time to go into the enemy jungle and spot out the second respawn of Raptors. They might have overstaged now. Bin does have flash. You can go through the wave and get the non-empowered stun. In fact, I think he might just do that. Wei's looking forwards to it.
Maybe Croco the target instead. And Bin gonna zone him towards the tower. Gets the stun with the flash to make sure that Wei can be a part of it. So both top laners now with a kill. Bin moves back into the top lane and is going to try and freeze this wave for as long as he can. Holds it out of the tower wave, and now Ala in a really rough spot where he has to go for that recall and try and contend.
Yeah, so he's going to teleport back in, but he's going to lose an entire wave pretty much before he gets there, because there were, what, 6 ranged creeps and a cannon. That's so much DPS from the wave, which means that a lot of those extra minions are going to die, and you can see that basically the whole wave dies before Ala can even come back in. Bin will get himself a cannon. The observers would absolutely tell us if he missed it. Don't you worry about that. They are absolutely locked in on that fact. So at least something reclaimed from BLG. Croco now going down potentially towards bot side.
Stun comes through onto Kyle. Do you know a stat I would really love to see in the LPL? I know this is not really possible, but cannons missed that the observers didn't see.
Yep.
I wonder what their cannon miss to view ratio is for the observers in the LPL, because I bet it's damn good. I bet it's absolutely insane.
There are pro views out there. You can see their point of view, but God, I'd be watching so much tape. That'd be many hours invested into that. I mean, it'd be worth it. It would absolutely be worth it, but yeah.
No two ways about it. Bin with a really nice trade. He's level 6 over Ala's level 5 right now. His Knight actually uses his lightning crash down in the mid lane just to clear this wave away, get a good trade onto Shanks, and potentially move down towards the bottom side of the map. There was an on-the-way ping. I don't know if that was just from Elk pinging that he's going back to lane. I do find there's a lot of, like, totally useless pings in pro play. Like, Elk pinging that he's going back to his lane is, I think, surprising to absolutely nobody.
Yeah, I wonder how it is in terms of basically trying to keep comms clear and stuff, because you don't want to put... hang on a second, that's a heavy trade. Hope's got to be careful there. Owie!
Big damage, and Kael has run out of aftershock. Will walk away with his life. Nearly walked the double up into Hope there. Elk arrives, and they know that he's back. He makes it known with that BF sword.
Bin alone on top side for now. Wei has started up those grubs. There was a chance for Croc to go in. Bin is level 6, doesn't get himself the mind game on that W for the camp strike.
Bin trading heavily. Ala sets it up beautifully. The stun is going to come on through, and that is a second for Ala already. However, here comes Knight to try and clean things up. Ala the target, but he gets underneath the tower. The burn, is it enough from Wei? Not quite. And Croco walks away too.
Ala not going to get hit by the swell seed either. Ala's Jax is up there on a similar level to Bin's Jax, one of those real famed individual picks, and Ala now getting 2 kills in this matchup, even though he's down that CS, does help him get a foot up in this lane. Eventually, Ala will get to the point where he will really start to wreck these team fights if you get on top of either Wei or Bin or someone like that. We've seen exactly how much he can do on the flank of a team fight. And this piece being added to the puzzle of Anyone's Legend was a huge point between Spring and Summer. Tabe coming in and Ala coming in was so big to give them an extra Tarry potential.
Oh, look at the combo from the bot lane of BLG. Flash forward, but Hope still escapes. Kael will not be so lucky. That's a kill for Elk on the misfortune.
And Hope is not going to be able to claim this wave on the bot side. He's going to leave like a double stack to... Oh, Hope, that's very dangerous. He's got his E back up, should be safe, but he'll be losing a double wave here now as well. This is why the misfortune getting through the draft has been so important for BLG, because it allows BLG to play towards lane-dominant bot lanes in a way which they can't do with other picks nearly as much. Shanks will now pick up the wave which Hope has lost. It'll be something for him, at least more resources for their second AD carry. Which is something for them, but Misfortune, such a powerful pick right now, can go towards the Bloodthirster, which gives her a strange interaction with the W, where she keeps her move speed even unless she gets that shield broken. Very, very powerful in terms of her range in her team fights later on with her ultimate, and considering you're playing around a lot of champions who want to be standing in that mid-range, it's going to be very, very powerful.
KL has Flash W available, but not level 6, so won't be able to go for any roots, and Knight will just space out the sapling, keep himself fine in the mid lane. Got 2 plates for Shanks roaming down to the bottom side. It's been a tense early game, but BLG just about finding advantages.
We'll say, On and Elk have been playing these 2v2s very, very close, but On has had way better of them today than he normally has done before. I think that On has been very about the place in terms of whether his laning phase has been excellent or disastrous. Today it has been putting towards the positive. Very, very close trades, but Algernon threading the needle well so far. And in a game like this, when the Misfortune Rel is such a key part to your burst combo later, that is very important.
Good stuff from On, setting up for Elk's combo as well. I mean, the damage Misfortune does early on in the game, like you say, going for that Bloodthirster. It's kind of old school, isn't it? The BF sword first back.
Yeah.
Feels like a long time
Season
since
3,
that was the standard. Yeah. And honestly, you know, I kind of miss that because I feel like there's an extent to which when you can buy a BF sword on your first back, it like really rewards a good start to the lane. You know, the difference between you going back and getting a couple of long swords versus a BF sword is night and day.
It's a huge thing. Crocker does have level 6. I think we've got a big fight coming through here. Another big combo.
Well, that time doesn't really quite land properly. There's a lilting lullaby and a bit of follow-up for the sleep, but Croco just going to be tapped. Blue buff. I'm not even sure who got the blue buff, actually. Wei and Croco both look like they don't have it.
Yeah, I don't know who got that one. I'd imagine it was one of the extra supporting
Maybe it was the bullet time,
Might have been the bullet time, yeah. And I guess that's an extra little bit of something. Of course, Misfortune quite mana hungry, particularly with that Maker Brain, so I guess you'll take that. You'll take the takeaway from Croco as well on the Sejuani. Already falling behind in terms of that CS, but the extra assist is making up the difference as it stands right now. But we'll see whether he can keep up in terms of relevance to the Lilia in terms of items and gold as the game goes on. Lilia has been so goddamn strong in the LPL recently. And it was, yeah, Elcon, he has the blue buff there, so and that's him taking that one. But yeah,
so
I mean,
he's essentially got his he's got budget Bloodthirster Essence Reaver.
Yeah, already.
He's got the mana regen, he's got the health regen, and the Vamp Scepter. Who needs the actual items?
Yeah. And you know, I think BLG have actually looked at their best when Elk is getting so far ahead of the gameplay aggressively like this too. Croco was looking into maybe see if he can get himself a Smite Steal. He didn't have visuals on the HP of the grubs. Looks in and says, I can't stay around for that. Immediately gets out just with that Q. But it would have been nice to deny one of these. BLG getting 6 grubs. That could be a bit of an issue. We'll see how effectively they can hit towers. So now the question is, BLG, you have the 6 grubs, makes your cross-map so much easier. Cross-mapping with 6 grubs is very, very easy because you kill towers so quickly, and it means that you can send one person to cross-map, and then you can send 3, 4 to defend different lanes on the other side of the map. Bin eventually will fall behind this matchup against Ala, but if he gets enough plate gold, it delays that timer, and it means that the Renekton, in which you do need to take winning lanes and bring them into winning team fights. This will help if he can get some plate gold to keep himself ahead of the curve just that little bit longer, and make sure that envelope of time which you're playing through is a little bit larger. That's a bad ward miss.
Yeah, unlucky. Unlucky for On there. As once again, Bin has gone in as Croco arrives on the top side. His reads have not been good in this side lane. Oh, he nearly turned it around there onto Ala. Ala realizes he cannot hit that wave. Wei has arrived. I wonder if Bin is like trying to set up for a long play for Wei to arrive, but
I think so, but this is the problem. Croco's now even going in and saying, all right, passive in there. He doesn't have his ultimate, but the damage is good. The top jungle synergy has been way better for AL than it has from BLG. I mean, okay, we didn't see that game 1, which we know ended with disaster for AL, but in the games that we have seen, in games 2 and game 3, Bin has just not been comboed up well with Wei, and that is one of the issues you have with changing a jungle like this. Yes, Bin and Wei, they played together on RNG in that MSI win back in 2022, I believe that one was. No, it would have been 2021, rather, 21, because 22 is, of course, when Shahu went back towards... look, it was one of those years. God damn it, it was one of them. He played with that one. But he's just not comboing up very, very well in terms of the timing of the jungler being in his lane. And that has led now to what should have been a dominant laning phase with a huge gold lead being leveraged through 6 grubs, now being even with a Jax, which has a Triforce now as well. Ala is very happy.
He'll be really happy with how this one's gone. Very, very comfortable for him. And it will still be Bin with the 6 grubs. Might be able to finish off one more plate before he kind of runs out of time on those plates. But I don't know. This Renekton it's gonna have to be huge in the fights. He's gonna have to find some giga flanks. That recall is somehow off a vision. Elk really getting away with that one, and that'll be a really cheeky recall because MF gets back to lane so fast with boots, and with your W passive, like you can really be cheeky with your recalls, and he's going to get back without losing any minions.
No, it's got to the point on Knight might blow his flash here. This could be a little dangerous. No, he hops over the wall, and he'll get himself that skate 3 out of there. Ala is the one who is finally in a 1v2.
Okay, sleep comes through. No way out of that one. And Bin gets the kill. Crucial there, honestly, for BLG. That Bin didn't fall too far behind the curve. Shanks will get a couple of plates in the mid lane from the play from Croco. This is very back and forth, isn't it? The way that this game is being played. Like, we keep on seeing a positive play on one side for one team, and then it flips over for the next play.
Yeah, and this is why, you know, I'm losing a lot of confidence in BLG, because these were the kind of games where they would have such a mastery over the early game, and their ability to like lock the enemy out of using their tools and counterpunch very, very well was so effective. But now stuff like this is happening where they're not really considering the globals, the movements on the map. Bin is going to die for this first turret, which he would have loved to get for free.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Maybe he can get under the towers and execute. I don't know, though. I think he's just going to try and clear the wave if he can. Gets the Q across as many minions as possible. Denies any counter push onto his own tier 1 as BLG. You mentioned the cross map. They get a tower in the mid lane. Knight caught by the ultimate, but on there, body blocking for his mid laner as Elk crashes a wave in the bot lane as well.
Yeah, no, credit to BLG. I was questioning about that play on top side. They actually pushed it all 3 lanes and took all 3 turrets. So that's actually been working out well for them. This is what happened before this. This would have been the 1v2, I suppose, where I guess he took the extended play. And this time, finally, he had his jungler on a better timing than Arla did with Croco. Croco's going to take up that Herald as we, again, watch the replay of that kill go down. BLG, they get themselves a huge map opening play now. How do they accelerate the game beyond this one? 15 minutes in, they have really big potential from Elk with that Bloodthirster, and of course the still window of power for the Renekton happening for this early into mid game. This could be very powerful. In fact, actually, BLG, I'm wondering whether they'd even go towards a contest here. MF is here with the Bloodthirster.
Okay, doesn't steal away the Herald. Croco will get that, and Alet zips out of the top side. But speaking of zipping, Knight moving over on that Zeri, wants a big lightning crash, and Croco will be the target. That's 300 gold into Knight's pocket.
Yes, that's nice. He gets an extra, again, a little bit of gold across these solo laners. Bin wants every little bit he can get at this point. The further Renekton is ahead of the game, the longer their window of power remains to be. Kyle potentially going towards Wei, and now Wei's caught out. Shanks is coming in.
Kyle actually got the Gromp there. BLG just cannot get Gromps. They just can't. That Gromp has got them every single time. In the previous game, it was literally Knight losing the game for the Gromp. This time around, it's just a flash from Wei. But either way, that Gromp is a mob boss, I'm telling you.
He's got some dirty secrets there. He's got some frog skeletons in the closet. As get now. Again, it's a really strange game state where it feels like these are not very structured plays all the time. It feels like it is very responsive to someone showing on the map and trying to like very quickly make these decisive teleports. You know what this is? This is 2 Tabe teams playing against each other. This is actually the result of that. We're actually Tabe's style, and I think he's one of the few coaches you can actually see shine through in the team's macro in the way that they play. Very obviously. Very quick, decisive map teleports where they try and read the game state and like get snappy teleports to push people out of position on the map. Ale, that's how they managed to come to dominance in Group D of the group stage, and I feel like that's been a core part of their style. And of course, BLG, they were kind of coached into dominance last year by Tabe coming in midway through spring and revolutionizing that team. And yes, he's gone from that team, and yes, Knight has come into the roster and Wei has as well. But I think there are still some shadows of that gameplay left in BLG. Absolutely, they built a style off of it. And I think actually we can see that quite effectively here.
And honestly, I'm really excited to see what AL can get done in playoffs, because I feel like this is it's almost like an experiment here of like, you know, we saw what Tabe could do with BLG, which is a roster of like world-class players, or at least by the time they were done on their run. Can he do the same when you've got a roster like AL that weren't world-class players when this roster first started out, when Tabe joined? Feels like maybe will be by the end of the run, as they find themselves a pick, but that's a bullet time over everybody. Kyle put to sleep as well. They get over the walls. Croco and Ala might be able to get away, but Knight doesn't want that to happen. Ala the next target, but he leap strikes over to the minions. The slow is there, is the damage. The burn, ticking away at Elk, flashes to finish the job.
And they have the 6 grubs. That'll be another tower down. BLG, they have the tools this time to accelerate the game, and AL are just falling behind on the map. It's Tabe team versus Tabe team, and BLG just seemed like they they have the better pedigree for this game. They're slightly further ahead, and they're slightly quicker to pull that punch in. Letting that MF through to have that dominant bot lane has really changed things. You could see that AL potentially were looking even there to have a decisive teleport again, to get Shanks into the backline, but they just don't want to take that fight against Elk's MF. He is far too strong.
Elk is monstrous at this point. He's on his way to getting his real Essence Reaper instead of just the phony one we saw earlier. The Herald finally dropped by AL. It should lead to a tower in the mid lane, but with Elk here, actually, maybe they can't push it, and I don't think the Herald charge on its own will finish the job. I don't think they can kill this before it gets the charge, but still, Tier 1 survives. It's only 1 tower this game so far for AL. It's 6 for BLG. That is sheer map dominance.
Yeah, BLG, they have just really accelerated this game. They've got 1 minute until the Dragon. That'll be an early soul point for them as well. Everything is working out. We go back to a replay of course, the play which happened in this top jungle as well, where yeah, he's caught out, but you're overcommitting onto the Rel. It's not the MF. It's not the Zeri. You're putting your damage into the wrong target. I get trying to look for the quick pick. It's not a quick enough pick onto a tanky enough support. You get the 1 kill, but you then run out of tools to finish off the rest of this play.
It's rough. Alan nearly got away. The fact that Elk is willing to flash for that kill as well, that kill really doesn't lead to anything, but Elk confident that they will be on the attacking side of these plays, that he won't need his flash defensively, that he's quite happy to exchange that for 300 gold. And I mean, now, he didn't even go for the Essence Reaver, by the way. He's gone for Infinity Edge, 2nd item, so this is a really powerful misfortune, exchanging that mana regeneration for just outright damage.
And it does really feel like now, BLG, anytime AL misconnect, they don't connect with those carries, they're just going to immediately explode.
Croco is found on the wrong side of the play. It's a TP in from Ala. They're going to try and turn this into a 5v5. AL want to fight it somehow on, looking for the engages. The roots come on in. Bin on the top side of the plate as well, but it's 4v5 for the time being. Here comes the Crocus Knight surviving on the bottom side of the play, and Bin gets his moment. Revenge for the camp on the top side from Croco. BLG get themselves a clean fight.
This is so dominant from BLG. We know the best of 3 merchants. They do occasionally give up a game here and there, and this one just doesn't feel like it is playable for AL at this point. BLG, they gave them a bit of hope in game 2, and even then that got scrappy and it got close. It just hasn't been close this time. Elk wins lane, BLG win bot lane, they roll out across the map, it comes into the combo. Baron's gonna go down just a minute after it's been birthed onto the rift, and AL, they are just not close in any role right now. Shanks can't carry from this position, Ala can't carry from this position, and Croco and Hope, they were kind of out of this game as well. And AL, it's just not a close game. They don't hit the carries the right way again. You can see that. They teleport in. This is Tabe team versus Tabe team, but they do try and go for these big, decisive teleports on side lanes across the map. Try and read the map better than the opponent. But right here, the bullet time doesn't get stopped. They don't get onto Elk quick enough. And yeah, they do get some damage onto Knight, but the damage is done. The damage is done. And it leaves so much room when they miss the carries in the right point for the damage to come through after.
Aloe is literally halfway through his attack animation as he dies there. But Knight manages to survive the play, and Bin using the Hex Gates to get himself onto the backline. Dominus going to be used as he tries to escape. Ala considering going in, but Bin has bought all the space he needed there using the Hex Gate. It's an 8,000 gold lead, and I'm telling you, this team is exactly the same as what Top Esports used to be. This is happy gaming right here. You don't stomp game number 1 and then game number 3 like this and just look completely lost in game number 2 every single series by mistake. I don't believe in coincidences. BLG, they're hiding strats, they're playing the long game, and they're having some happy games along the way.
BLG, of course, they're looking to get themselves ever higher and higher into this Ascension group, trying to fight for seeding and get as best they can. Honestly, they probably don't deserve the top seeds but the way that they've been playing disrespectfully this summer, but they still deserve to be recognized for their upper level of potential. It's one of these really frustrating things about this team. I know they're goddamn good. I just want them to play like it all the time because it'd be better League of Legends. Yes, it's entertaining to see some teams give them good games over time, but this team should be playing like this more consistently. Knight gonna walk into Croco, and I think Croco doesn't want this fight.
Croco is on the wrong side of this one, and Knight gets stunned, but he'll be okay with that one. Baron being used now. All 5 members of BLG on the bottom side. It's Croco stunned by Bin. BLG getting kind of chunked at this point. I don't know how much longer they want to hold this siege. It's not like their comp has crazy range to work with.
Yeah, I think that'll be it. 1 minute left of the Baron means that they can reset with the Empowered Recalls, get one last wave pushed out in each lane, and then they can use that to kind of tie it over to the next phase of play. It's not going to be long enough to set up the map for the next Dragon, which is coming up in 3.5 minutes. God, that Hex Soul with everything else. Hextech Soul is one of the most broken things you can have with either Zeri or Misfortune as well. For Zeri, because every time she hits you, you get slowed, and she hits you some more. And the problem with MF is that she puts down that ultimate, and it's like she's hit you with the Make It Rain without actually casting the Make It Rain if that's not available as well. It's like a free slow into all of this massive AoE, which is just absolutely obnoxious. Also giving the attack speed and the ability haste as well on the individual dragons. I mean, everyone on this team loves a little bit of that as well. Anyone's Legend, they are hugely far behind in gold. They do have the 2 item spikes on their 280 carries, and Arla isn't unstrong with 2 items. He's just way far behind on the map, and he's going to get 1v3'd.
Arla pops his Grandmaster's Might. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference here. Perhaps gets a chance to stun up onto Elk, but no, Bin moves in the way, protects his AD carry, and now Arla gets flanked by Wei as well. Stepped too far up in the lane, looks for Elk, and the cleanse comes through from Elk in the end, so at least a minor punish from Ala, but at the end of the day, he's still caught out.
And he's going to be dead for another 40 seconds. Oh god, that might even be inhib turret gone. 6 grubs. This is the problem. BLG, they've synced up their waves well.
They're pushing mid as well.
Ala's now going to be dead for another 30 seconds. Yeah, Shanks is pushing a side lane, but this is going to be a 6 grub push with multiple AD carries into multiple roles.
Is this going to be 2 inhibs?
Oh, this is going to be double inhibs because Ala dies here. And because he died so late, he can't respawn and then teleport in for a threatening play. Shanks will push for an inner turret, but it is just not worth it. Ala over pushes. Ala costs his team 2 inhibitors because AL just haven't wrangled the map well.
And that is just phenomenal from BLG. The punish, that's triple inhibs because the top tower was already opened up. My lord, 1 top laner death, and this team will take the entire map. Like, it is just brutal. I just wish that they did this consistently.
Yeah, Knight's going to teleport to defend the inhibitor turret as well. 1 minute 30 until the Dragon. This is about the sweet spot timing for this as well, because Shanks, God, he has to teleport out. The Hex Gates will help you get to the points of the map you need to be. Now the problem is for AL, they have 3 inhibs down. There is a Hex Soul coming up in 1 minute 30. Now the inhibs just got taken. That's going to be 3 waves of super minions that will spawn before this Dragon comes through. So you have to deal with all of them. Arla is trying to like hard push out this bot lane as quickly as possible at this point because there's 1 minute until Dragon now. But the rest of the map, you could just lose the game off with this Dragon, and Wei is catching them out because AL are scrambling and they are going to be behind the map. This should be the series right here. AL, this is an impossible scenario to break.
How on earth do they dig their way out of this one? AL need more than just the potential we've been talking about all year. They need a bloody miracle at this stage. They need to show us something truly exceptional if they're going to find a way back into this game. But, I mean, 3.5 items on Azeri, 8 stacks on Wei's Dark Steel, 3 items on Elk. It's not getting any easier, and with double supers in every single lane, the sheer amount of pressure this AL roster is under, and especially when you know Tabo was talking to them in between the games saying, come on lads, you've got to beat my old team, I'll never live it down if we lose to BLG. Well, I'm afraid, Tabe, you might not ever live it down.
Yeah, might not have a choice in this one. Ale, I just can't look at any of these matchups and say it's going to go well for anyone's Legend. I think that right now, Knight, even though he's not as far ahead of gold against Corki, has all of the items to just completely shred this. This is a free Hex Soul. AL realize if they contest this Dragon, they lose the game. When you kill 3 inhibitors, 2 super minions spawn with each wave, and you can see that AL are trying their very best to try and keep these waves away from the Nexus. How do you defend the Dragon at Baron now? You've given up a Hex Soul. You've given up the map. You still haven't been able to push things across the other side of the river. Baron's up. If you move away from this, there's even a chance that Bin can teleport into a wave as well. He's not the best tower taker on the Renekton, but it'll be enough with all the super minions. Knight's going to go towards this now, and AL, what do they do?
1v1 me, bro. Knight just starts Baron by himself. I'll contest one thing you said there, and that's that the Hex Soul was free. It was not free. It cost AL a lot of happiness when BLG took that one. 8k on the Baron. There is a ward in the pit, but realistically, what's Croco going to do about it unless he can make some kind of miracle steal happen? But he's put to sleep, and he's taken down the picks on top of the objective. I mean, this is a victory lap for BLG at this point. This is brutal.
BLG versus Anyone's Legend, the two Tabe teams of this era face off against each other, and one is quite clearly head and shoulders above the other. BLG are still best of 3 merchants, but they're still BLG at the end of the day, and Anyone's Legend, well, they're nobody's legend here in Game 3.
Certainly not. Bullet time comes down to finish off Shanks. On even survives as the fountain dive goes through. Ala looks for one last hurrah, but the only hurrah he'll be hearing is the BLG fans in the audience as the Nexus will fall and BLG take the series in a clean fashion in their final game.
That'll do it for today's games. BLG walk away with a 2-1, and they'll keep themselves higher up in those standings. They have one last series to go, I believe, versus FPX towards the end of the day. And with that last series and that last game done as well, it comes to an important moment for us as well to take a bit of time to talk about ourselves. This will be the last game that is not broadcast officially on the LPL English channel for this year. Over the course of this year, myself and Munchables and many other co-streamers have helped cover these games to make sure that these games do not become lost media. I've cast a lot of these games, a couple of them with you, Munch, with Nizal, with Yanni, and of course a lot of them with my brother Samuel Initialized Hapgood as well. And throughout the efforts of everyone in the LPL community, it has been made possible that you guys out there can enjoy these games as though there were an official broadcast at some points as well. So for those of you that enjoyed that, good. That's what it's here for. We hope that you've enjoyed these games. And honestly, Joe, it's been really enjoyable having you on stream here today again. And, you know, I always enjoy and value the time I get to cast with you on cast here as well. God, we've done there have been 170, 180 non-broadcast games this year. We've finally got through them all. Jesus, man.
Yeah, it's been a big year. And with the new format as well, it's been an exciting time to honestly be an LPL fan. And honestly, this year has been an interesting year for the LPL. Our top teams have not necessarily looked like top teams the whole time. Even towards the end of this split, we still have top teams bringing us big questions like BLG today. But we are getting towards playoffs now, and we are starting to see that the top teams are going to be in form by the time we get to Worlds. Thank the Lord, we actually might have some competitive teams. So
we have 1 day left of our Rumble stage as well. Tomorrow we have FPX BLG.
It's a big day.
And then we have Top Esports JDG. Top Esports JDG, that's actually huge. That's insane. That could potentially... I'm trying to remember if that will potentially flip. No, that doesn't really affect, sadly, JDG. But I think with the results of that day... Oh, actually, I'm not sure if that means... It doesn't mean much for standings. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean that much for standings, because actually a lot of things have narrowed down with today's results. It does mean a lot for momentum. If JDG managed to look competitive versus Top Esports, that really opens up the conversation for top of the table. Because I think currently Top Esports look like best team in the LPL. If they struggle versus JDG, that could be changed.
If I'm not mistaken, it does still matter tomorrow for Top Esports being able to get in the top 2, right? BLG's result really matters, and Top Esports' result matters, because both BLG and Top Esports can still make it to 2nd seed, so both series matter in terms of who gets the buy into double elimination.
FPX would have to lose the series, and Top Esports would have... Top Esports, as long as they win, they will have a better game differential at that point, because they have a really good game score. Okay, so that's what matters there. So Top Esports win, BLG lose, and then Top Esports will get top 2. If that's not the case, we'll have BLG being in top 2 instead. If BLG win, I think they get first. In fact, I think they will get first if they end up winning that one because of game score.
Who got the head-to-head? Because they'd be tied if it was a 2. Wait, no, sorry.
Because I think they just went to 6-1 plus 6 game score.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah, so they'll be tied if it's 2-1. They'll win outright if they 2-0.
Yeah.
They'll be tied if it's 2-1, and LNG has the head-to-head. So if BLG wins 2-1 tomorrow, LNG gets first seed. If BLG 2-0s tomorrow, they get first seed. First versus second seed doesn't really matter in the LPL because you both get into round 4. But either way, BLG need to win tomorrow if they want to make it into top 2. That's the big thing. And the same to be said for Top Esports, but Top Esports require BLG also to lose.
Okay, folks, we'll stick around to see who the MVP is, or at least I will. Joe, buddy, happy to hang out or not, but you can also do whatever the heck you want. You're a free person, Joe. Honestly, it's been really... I'm obviously honored to have you on stream again today.
I feel like Dobby, who's just received a sock. What a blessing of you to freebie.
have to say, I kind of like the Unchained cast a little bit. I had a line there, what was it? It's like, and like the jungle matchup is because of the Sejuani. I was trying to fit in like a David Cameron treating the ball like that at some point. Couldn't quite get that one in there, but God, it was sadly a bit of a sad game to end off today with, and end off like the unbroadcast games. A little bit anticlimax, but also I'm just glad we got to see some fireworks from BLG to some extent. This is what we should have seen from BLG.
Yeah, at least we got real BLG gameplay. I feel like, I don't know, AL, they still feel like a good team to me. It's just, it's a great many series now that we've not seen that for. That's 5 losses in a row from the squad. I feel like Ala and Shanks both really want it. I feel like Crocco's had some really good games. I don't think that there's one individual player that you can really pinpoint as like the problem, but I don't know, it's just not working.
So what I was pointing out before for AL has been jungle support movements on the map and a bit of their synergy as well, but that has looked better in the last week as well, so that might not even be the case. And the problem with games like this, against teams like this, it's like similar to when AL are playing against top esports. It's top esports, it's BLG. The problem is, AL are a good team, but are they a great or a truly excellent team? And that's the problem, where there are genuinely excellent teams here in the LPL, where you have like laners like Vin, like Elkanon when they're on form, where it just feels like every bit of work that you put in, even if you are, you know, Ola has been a top team, a top tier top laner before. Shanks is moving up towards that in terms of top lane. You know, the hope is an LPL champion as well. But it's just so hard to match up on a pound-per-pound value against the one players on BLG when they actually put together a cohesive game plan. It hasn't always happened, but yeah, I feel like AL, if I was going to criticize them across the most of this Rumble split, it has mostly been about jungle support synergy, but even then, that's looked a lot better in the last week. So I'm not as down on them as I was a week or two ago. I think hopefully they will still contend in playoffs. To what degree, that's going to be an issue. They're going to start off in, you know, a round of playoffs. I think they'll still deal quite handily with like your NIP, JDG, stuff like that. I don't exactly know what they're going to do against the rest of the teams, though. That jury's out on that front for me.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm going to call it there, mate. I'm going to call it there.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to go drink the rest of my Iron Brew. I'm going to probably have G&T a little bit later as well. That'll be lovely in the sun.
And then we'll catch you on the official broadcast. And obviously, folks, remember to go follow Joe. Remember to go follow him on his socials and on his channel, everything like that. Wonderful caster, wonderful friends. And thank you so much for joining me as Wei gets the MVP. And, buddy, I'll see you on broadcast. Or I'll see you before then for presumably playoffs planning at some point.
Yes, I think my next cast will be either on the 10th or the 11th. So it's a little while away. But, yeah, is that right?
Something like that.
No, that can't be right.
Man. I'm just... Dude,
no. Sorry, it's not. It's the 4th. The 4th is my next broadcast.
I have to say, I fucking crawled across these last couple of weeks. I lost my voice midway through last week. I've been in like 2 podcasts a week, a load of these casts, a load of the official streams. Like, I'm so fucking ready for a break, folks. I'm so ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, as Captain Gore said in chat, Peepo vanish. Catch you later.
See you in a bit, buddy. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. So, folks, from me as well, let me turn the volume. Let me chat to you for a little bit, folks. Across this year, across spring and summer, I've kind of put it as a mission to myself to cover the LPL games that were not on the official broadcast. There are other co-streamers, of course, that would help with this. This is the only channel which is specifically stuck with the LPL day in, day out. We have cast it as a formal broadcast and really tried to get as much pro coverage as possible. And between this channel and other co-streams as well, I really hope you found a new way or a continued way to enjoy the LPL games. We have now covered 170 games here across spring and summer. We missed 1 or 2 games. I apologize for that for what it's worth. We really hope that you've been enjoying yourself, that you've been enjoying the LPL. The support has been fucking incredible. I've noticed a couple of subs in chat as well from over time, and we've gone from like 1,000 followers up to like over 7,000, which is absolutely insane within about 7 months. Cam, thank you so much for the sub as well. And for the bits which throw into chat for fair as well. I saw a sub from you there, and if there's anyone I missed as well, know that I appreciate you all the same. And yeah, thank you to all of the other casters which come on the channel. So much love for Munch, for Mazel, for Yanni, for Carrix, and then particularly to my brother as well, Samuel Initialize Hapgood. You would have seen he's not here right now, but you would have seen him for many hundreds of hours here on this channel as well. I can't have done it without these guys. Solo casting would have been absolutely a no-go. I hope that you've enjoyed yourselves. I hope you've enjoyed the LPL. And I hope that you also stick around with the channel as well. In off-season, we're going to do some different projects. I think what we're going to do is we're going to watch back some historical League of Legends. So I want to go back and watch Samsung White and Samsung Blue in 2014, for instance. I want to go back and watch the Fnatic undefeated run in 2015 summer. And some of these historical moments which maybe people have forgotten about a little bit. And if you have any ideas for that, join the Discord. There's a Discord where you can join the community and speak with us a bit more. And yeah, we can go through some of that too. I'm actually weirdly emotional. I've put in fucking maybe 1,000+ hours from this year alongside my official class. My voice is fucking broken. I am exhausted. I've done 400 casts or so this year already in 6 months. I'm fucking broken. But honestly, the support has made this absolutely worthwhile, and I'm sure this is cringe to some of you, but it does mean an awful lot that you can support me in doing this as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go find someone to raid over to. So I'm going to find someone to go raid and send over you guys to as well. But thank you so much for the support. I'll still be doing chill co-streams for the LPL when I can, when my voice allows for it as well. And yeah, I just really hope that you've enjoyed this, that you see the value in this. God, who should I send you over to? So I might do something a little bit different. Oh, would she appreciate that? I have a friend who's streaming to not very many people right now. It's streaming a Star Wars game, which is a little bit different. And also on YouTube, I'm going to end the YouTube stream here with that. But yeah, I wonder if we just send them a huge raid. But you have to promise to be nice, okay? All of you have to choose. You got to be nice, okay? You got to promise me with that. Okay. So they're playing Jedi. They're playing Jedi Fallen Order for the first time. They're a voice actor friend of mine. They're a good friend called Saf. Please be very nice. Drop them a follow if you can. I know it's a very different audience, but hopefully this will mean a lot to them as well. And, okay. Just gotta hope this is okay. So, send you over to them now. And, yeah. Thank you so much for the support, as always. It means a fucking ton. And, yeah. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll join you in that channel as well. And, yeah. I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.